Hello again, RC Rankirkus. We're on Global War 1936 to 1945. This is the summary video for the turn of July 1940. All right, I'm just gonna whip over to the tech chart first. This is where we sit. Anytime you see a roundel on here, anywhere between stage 1, 2, or 3, that's where somebody sits on producing a tech. And I'm just going to focus on what's actually completed here. I am only going to focus on the U.S. tech at the moment here that's not completed. The U.S. gets a victory point if it has jet aircraft, heavy bombers, long-range aircraft, and strategic rockets. They've been rolling on all three of these for the last 3 or 4 turns. Sorry about that. They finally started jets. They've worked on long range a couple times, and bombers the last few times have been failing. They're only one away, so we'll see what happens there. The UK got improved shipyards and strategic rockets, which they've built none of. They built some for cheap ships. The Japanese have improved shipyards for cheap ships, and they just got long range aircraft this past turn. That's nice that their aircraft all automatically have an increased range of built in. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's go with the Italians. They have radar. That was that freebie. And wartime economy. They collected some money again this turn. I think $7 this turn. Handy. Very handy. The Americans have completed advanced artillery. They haven't built any advanced artillery units, but they have the opportunity to build advanced artillery for the same price as regular artillery. The Germans have advanced mechs, jet aircraft, and strategic rockets. The only one so far they've built is they've built some advanced mechs this past turn. And strategic rockets, the last couple turns have been, or the last turn anyway, has been firing at the British. All right. Russia's got their advanced submarines, which they don't really care about. Because they don't, well, we'll never know. They do have some navies this turn, so who knows. And France, of course, has radar, and they have no planes, and they have no factory to build any facilities or planes, so that's kind of a waste of time for them. All right, income. This is the very end of the turn. I cannot remember exactly where we were at the start of the turn, so we just finished July 40. We're going to go move on to January 41 next turn. Incomes. Vichy's still at 2. CCP's down to 2. Or up and down to 2. I can't remember what all happened there. It's been pretty busy. KMT's at 3 this turn, at the end of the turn. France is at 5. Australia is at their full income of 7. Russia has attacked and taken over 8 properties worth outside of its home territory, and this is its home territory income. It's working its way up to the wartime income, which is your full home territory income. That's why this is separate. That way it doesn't get collected, but this would be artificially at 41, right? And then they'd only have 1 turn worth of rolling, where technically they're not at full income until this is all the way up. And that is additional. Netherlands. I've been negligent in using my own house rules, so I brought the Netherlands back up to where they should be. That would be in, the details of that are on, I think, part 2 video of All Powers. The FEC's at full income, and Italy's moved up to 14 to match them. The US did a very low roll of 4 this turn, I believe, so they're up to 22. The UK's up and down, 24 again. Japan's at 28. They were at 30. They started, I think, at lower. They've moved up and down. We already went over Russia, and Germany has moved up to 50. All right. Netherlands fights back. I had these extra bonus incomes. That's the only reason that this I'm playing this, because without it I would not play this expansion pack. +3 attack at border of Netherlands zone, either sea or land. and +1 if a major power declares war on anyone in Europe. And it's starting July 39, same turn that everybody else starts rolling for income increases. The Netherlands gets to roll a d6 per turn. So I went back and did the appropriate July 39 increases, and there was an increase here, there was an increase there was actually 3 there, and then they rolled a 5. So they were full income by the end of the first turn, July 39. So as a result, we artificially gave them 2 builds, 2 turns worth of builds to give them a minor factory at home. And then this past turn, they started a factory down here, built one of these guys as though a militia, and built a colonial, because they can do the same thing as France and British with an extra $1 to build a colonial without having a factory. All right, so there's that. Let's see, what else do we got going on? It's been a very, very, very busy game. And let's start with Germany first. That's the order that things happened. So you'll notice that Germany is going to be a bit different at the end of this turn here. Specifically, Germany had troops down there, and when they attacked that, they gave this to the British. Well, let's just leave that guy lying around. The Navy up here, well, Germany took this. What else did Germany take? Germany also took part of Greece here. And Germany, I believe, took back everything over here. These two. We'll have to build some units, move some commanders around, whatnot. And then the British took advantage of the fact that they had a free navy here and 3 free infantry. And they moved the infantry down and attacked the Marines. The Navy here came down and attacked there. These seaplanes have insane range. So one from Halifax managed to fly all the way over to here and fight in the naval battle. And using a fighter from this air base, they managed to throw a fighter into that naval battle, and they threw a fighter into that land battle over there. So all of those were successful to some part or another. The Germans scrambled a couple of fighters in there. They ended up losing a fighter, and this is all they have left. The British lost everything, but at the same time, the one fighter that did the land attack here is landed in here, and they built a tank. Yeah. So that's not turning out so well for the Germans. One thing that did turn out for the Germans, okay, the British went on a crazy tear up there. The British took out the sub and destroyer that were over here. For the Germans, what else did the British do? I can't remember if they did anything else. So that's what they did. Oh, and they also staged up this fleet here from South Africa. There's a couple of dudes here, and from Burma, a couple of dudes on another transport. This is the fleet that was sitting in harbor there by Calcutta, and some of it that was down here. All right, so there's a reason for that. They moved in and they were going to reinforce Gibraltar, but they couldn't reach. So seeing as last turn the Italians had Gibraltar, this turn they took Cairo, and by taking Cairo and Gibraltar, the Spanish nationalists aligned with Germany. So there we go. And there was another tidbit of information regarding the previously yellow Russian-controlled Republican Navy. I had incorrectly taken them off the map. It was pointed out to me that they should have been rolled for. So I rolled for them. And all 3 of those ships joined the German, well, the nationalists, and then they aligned to the Germans there. All right, so Germany's got a little bit of Navy in here again. Let's see what else happened. That's the British, the Italians. The French have done not much that I can remember. The French built a colonial over there, did a tech roll, and lend-leased some money to the British. The Italians were convoy raiding rolls. Now, let's just move that right about there so you can see the entire line. So, this sub, this coastal sub, this regular sub, raided this line. And I've house ruled the rules a bit here. If you watch some of the previous turns of this game, you'll see how ridiculous the rules were. So I've adjusted the house rules a bit so that this becomes a little more realistic. So these guys did a convoy raid, which is basically just attacking raiding vessels. And the fact that there's an escort on the line gave them a bonus in the money loss and lack of loss for the raiding, right? The D6 roll that signifies the sinking or lack thereof of merchant ships. And these guys, I didn't give them an attack on both subs this turn, because every turn I was doing that, it was ridiculous. And there's no way that an escort can shoot at a sub and not expect that the sub's going to shoot back. So I've changed the rules a little bit. The escorts in my house rule I will be now maintaining for the rest of the game here, unless it's proven to be totally broken as well, will only be able to shoot at the convoy raiders if the escorts decide to and they are in the same zone. So if this convoy raiding sub was here, then the escort can shoot. But since it's not there and it's here, the escort cannot shoot. All right, and it's up to the escort whether it decides to shoot or not. And if it decides to shoot at the raider, then the raider gets a defensive roll against the escort. All right. Otherwise, the escort just affects the modifier in what's going on. I may adjust that and allow advanced anti-submarine warfare to do something different. I'm not sure, but so far I'm just going to leave those as they are. I haven't tried the other thing yet with advanced anti-submarine warfare involved. All right. So I'm starting to move these commanders around a bit. I moved the British commander down into there. And there's a commander in with this. I left another commander in London, that way I can boost some aircraft, but they don't have any aircraft left in London this turn. They've all been airborne and sent away. Australia, they have their last turn. They started a light cruiser. We never had any of those on this map here yet, so I figured, well, we got $5. We don't know what to do. Let's start a light cruiser. And they moved their battle cruiser ahead, or heavy cruiser. Call it what you want. I know they're not technically the same thing. I've been looking a bit of that stuff online here. But how about we call them heavy cruisers, because that makes more sense. It's basically just a cruiser with heavier armament, right? All right, or bigger guns, I should say, and armor to match. Japan. So I believe this past turn the CCP had possession of Shaanxi, they had possession of Taiyuan, and they took over Henan with their troops. Japan, in retaliation, moved these troops down and took this back. They attacked here. So this was an amphibious from the city and from Tokyo. No losses. These guys moved over land from Peking, the city here, and brought along a fighter and a tactical. They had a loss, a single loss. There's a reason for these dice. I'll explain that in a second here. And then I had a land attack where I brought 3 infantry in here, and they had 2 losses. And I also had 2 fighters and a tactical that are currently resting on the carrier ships from the fleet there, The fleet has also combined itself again, so I just got it all on this card. It's a bit of a mess. I could chip it out, but I keep moving them off one at a time. And I'm the only guy here, and I'm cheating myself if I cheat with Japan against everybody else who's also me. So we're keeping this as fair as possible. I just want to have a fun game. Let's see what else happened. Russia brought, these are Russian planes here, right? So it doesn't have to use them. So it brought one of their planes into the attack on Henan with the CCP. But took a fighter in there and attacked with an infantry, killed the militia. Took a cavalry from here and a fighter from here and attacked Ulaanbaatar. Successful annihilation of the cavalry, but it lost its own cavalry, and it just walked in over here. So Russia has declared war on these guys, and that's really all that's going on with that. Russia also left its infantry behind in Portugal and has moved its navy. That's good. There, we got a shot of both navies. It's moved this one sub that was originally up by Vladivostok, but was parked over here somewhere in the in the Indian Ocean over to here. And it's moved this fleet here from the Navy base of Portugal. So these fleets are able to either combine here or combine there or in between, or who knows what's going on, depending on whether the Italians allow them in or out. And if you're the Italians, you'd be crazy to say you're not allowed to leave, because the last thing you want is these to suddenly become enemy warships in a place that, oh, I need to take these ships off. They got switched out with German units. There, that looks a little bit better. No, they don't have twice as many ships. Anyway, all right. Oh yeah, on the Italian turn, they built a transport and completed that cruiser that was on the build chart. Still haven't worked up that battleship yet, but they had bigger fish to fry like Cairo. Oh, Cairo is a beauty. It's worth $1, so the British went down $1, and it brought the British down $3 in a bonus. It brought FEC down $1 in a bonus, and it brought the French down $1 in a bonus. So that actually cost the Allies $6 for losing Cairo. And then when the Italians took it over, they gained the $1 plus a $2 bonus of their own. There's a $9 swing depending on whichever side owns this one land zone. Probably important to keep it. There may be a reason why there's an Italian commander there and here, and some forces that couldn't make it into Cairo but are as close as possible in case secondary impulse is required to take that away. All right, that's that. Let's go. We were going over Russia. So Russia moved all its troops over down here so that they'd be able to take Iraq next. They're running out of things to take. Or it could be able to say wander these guys down to here and scoop them up with a transport and a turn or two. And then who knows where they go. Russia's having fun. Just wandering around. All right. Yeah, Russia also finally took Lithuania, so it went up $1 there too. And it took Vipuri. And I got a single 1 die there because in Vipuri, Russia lost the unit. So I just got a comment before I started filming this video here about, hey, what happened to Russian guards and Japanese veterans? I'm not going back onto previous turns because it was hard enough having to go review my video and go, okay, where in that hour of video did an attack take place and who lost what? So I will be doing some Russian Guards rules. But first I'm going to review the rules verbally for you. On the Russian sheet, under Guards Infantry, after each battle, USSR may attempt to promote a number of units to elite Guards designation. You may attempt a number of promotions equal to the number of land units you lost in combat. So we lost 1. That's why I got these white dice here showing a single pip or whatever to signify that. You may only attempt to promote a unit 1 time. So you can't keep trying. If there's 6 dead guys, you can't promote this 1 light tank 6 times. I can roll for this light tank once for 1, and then number 2 I can roll for the next light tank, but I can't spend all my rolls on this one. Kind of like tech, you can't buy 17 tech rolls and use them all on wartime economy at once in the same turn. Kind of a gamey way to force the system on that. To promote a unit, you go roll a d12. If you get a 12, the unit is promoted and gets +1 attack and defense. Any land units are eligible for promotion except current guards units. May only attempt this if they won the previous battle, as in they defeated the enemy, which they did, or somebody attacks you and you defeat them to force them to retreat, which did not happen. So all the places where I have die was a successful attack. If you get attacked and you lose all your guys, you can't promote any of them because you lost the battle, right? If you attack somebody and you retreat yourself, you can't promote them, you lost the battle. So we have 1 infantry that died there. So we're going to roll 1 d12 and see if we can't get ourselves a promotion. And I'm just going to randomly pick this light tank. Why not? Alright, so that's 1 unit. And 1d12. Which one feels lucky to you? Let's just grab this one. Alright, so if we get a 12, that light tank gets promoted. And we didn't, so never mind. And to that, Russia did not get a guard this turn. Okay, so now we have this fight here. We had 2 fighters, tactical, and 2 infantry. We had 2 land units die, and Japan has basically the same deal. They just can promote only infantry instead of any land unit or a fighter. So I'm going to go on a limb here, and we're going to roll once for each of the 2 fighters that were there for the 2 land units that were lost. I'd rather have a fighter +1 attack and defense than have an infantry +1 attack and defense, especially an infantry that's right next to a stack of bad guys. So I'm just going to grab 2 dice here. I'm going to roll 2 of them at the same time. And 1 for each fighter for the 2 infantry that were lost in Shanxi. And no 12s, so never mind. Next, same deal. We had a fighter involved here. We lost 1 infantry. We're going to roll a single infantry if possible. Let's not drop that. All right, we're going to roll a single fighter, sorry. Rather the fighter again. Give me a 12. Nope, fail. There we go. So there. That's typically the results when we do these things, which is why it's almost never get them. So most of the time I don't even bother trying to remember to do the rolls because the odds are, as I said, 1 in 12 on each unit. Yeah, so that's it. Oh, what else happened? The KMT counterattacked using the Flying Tigers here into Guangxi or C or however you pronounce that, and they were successful. They killed I believe it was 2 infantry and motorized, and the commander attempted his flight roll, and we rolled that 12, so the commander died. There's some kind of roles in the commanders on how he can be replaced with a roll next turn and every turn thereafter, but I'm not sure on how I know the roles are different for land and navy, and I can't remember which one's which, so I'm not going to say what they are. We'll figure that out on the Japanese turn and do a roll for a commander. So just so I don't forget, I'm going to put in Tokyo here something that's going to look bizarre to us. it's going to be a die with a commander sitting on top. So I remember to roll for a commander. All right. Actually, no. Let's put it on the Japanese Place Units card here. We're more likely to not think he belongs. All right. And that was pretty much July 1940. Kind of busy. I did a few things as Germany that I didn't think were going to turn into such a great success for Britain, but when you stand there from the other side and you stare at it for a while, sometimes you can see, well, that was kind of a good move, but here's a couple of mistakes you made. And wow, did Britain fluke out and capitalize on those. All right. Oh, yeah, one other thing happened. The seaplanes with their range of I can't remember if it's 8 or 9, are insane. So I had a seaplane, the Japanese fleet, or the Italian fleet was here, and we had a single British destroying escort here, and a British that became aligned when Germany attacked Greece. And those two actually attacked a battleship, a cruiser, and a pair of transports, hoping to get something, right? And they were able to bring in a seaplane from London way up there, and it just flew around, fought here, and then it landed over here in Cairo. Like, that's insane range, right? Those seaplanes have a range that's basically equal to a strategic bomber with long-range aircraft. It's nuts. So, all right, but I believe they land at Navy bases rather than at air bases, so it kind of restricts where you can fly to, right? All right, so that's that. The Italians scrambled their aircraft, and it ended up being a loss, although the Italians, I believe, lost a coastal sub, so kind of was a waste for the British, but they had to do something to try and limit this so that they could hopefully weaken the attack, because if they could have either taken out the battleship or a cruiser or a transport, then this amphibious assault on Cairo would have been limited to aircraft and one single land unit, or the two land units that could get in there. Failed, but you know what? You got to try sometimes. Sometimes you just got to try, because the dice can go one way or the other. Kind of like real life. Anyway, I'm going to leave you here. And yeah, that was July 1940. And I'll see you on the next turn, January 1941.